fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Oh, sit down, oh, sit down, oh, sit down. Sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 down. Sympathy.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. This would be a bit different, this show today. Never streamed at this time of day before. It's always in the evening, so it's a different one. No red wine today on the old orange. So a bit too early for red wine today. Anyway, Matt, welcome for the first time. Good to have you.
Likewise, man. Glad to be here, man. Glad to see everybody. Glad to see Warren. Glad to see my brother Steve. Jay's been trying to do this for a while. You know, I was hoping we came in under better circumstances, but you know, it could be worse.
Yeah, true. Steve, welcome back, mate. Always good to have you on. Guess you're pretty happy with what Newcastle are doing, and they've done some business today. I see you've got a new player coming in, and we'll have a chat about that. Warren, good to have you back on, man. Saw your stream earlier. That was really good stuff, mate, in there. And I could see you were going on a serious rant, which is always good to see. We love all that. But I thought we'd have a very quick chat. So once again, Friday night, we threw away the FA Cup as though it's just not important to this club. Like, well, you know, we've won it the most times and we've been in the most FA Cup finals. But I just don't get it. I don't understand. I'll come to you first, Matt. Why do you believe that Arteta did not go to Man City away, probably one of the best team, well, the best team in my book, in English football at the moment, without first teams, you know, without the first strongest team? I just don't get it. Why?
Jez, it reeks of arrogance to me because it's almost as if we're in his mind. He thinks that we're going to win this Premier League. Nothing in football is a guarantee. We all know this. Yeah. We did not have a game for a whole week. It wasn't like we were getting ready to play on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. We had the game is what is it Sunday or Saturday? I think we play Saturday. But but having said all that, there's no reason that we should not have fielded a strong team, because we saw in the last 15 minutes of that game, had we had a stronger team, we probably walk away with a win. I didn't see anything, and I said this on my channel, I didn't see anything special from Man City that game. I didn't see anything that stood out to make me go, oh, well, this team is just way better than us. I felt like that team was there for the taking, and I felt like we let them off the hook. And it reeks of Arteta when it comes to critical thinking. He has a problem with critical thinking in situations where he should exercise his best judgment, which should be play the first team. If we don't have a strong enough bench. I mean, you saw what happened today, and we'll get that later on. We got players that are on loan that should have been on loan before we even played that game. Yeah. And this is a problem that has plagued us. We've got we got a European competition coming up in about a month or two. You know, that this discussion is going to come up again about our bench. Arteta, this is what worries me about the second half of the season, is his ability to make good managerial decisions. And are those decisions, because let me give everybody a reminder. We were in a European Cup semifinal, and he decided to show up and play a system that we had not played all year. People forget about that. I have a very long memory. We've had opportunities to do well. At the end of last season, we were doing well. What happened? We capitulated. That's managerial decisions. I understand that we're doing well right now, but there's gonna come a patch. All of us, me, you, Warren, you know about this. We've seen the Arsenal. When is Arsenal usually running most of their trouble? After the transfer window. March, April, May is usually the doomsday. Especially March is usually when we figure out what's really going on and where we're headed. The title is not won in December. FA Cup is one of, I grew up when I was a youngster, even when I started watching Arsenal in the 90s, FA Cup was the big deal. My best friend is also an Arsenal fan. He brings it up his way. He's like, that's our title. That's our cup. And to go into that, not take that game serious, not bring out your best team, to at least have some kind of mental game with Pep. Say, hey, you know what? We'll nick something off of you. Give him something to think about. But now you've empowered him. Oh, well, we can beat Arsenal. We can beat Arsenal. You know, everybody's like, well, you know, the FA Cup, you know, and I've talked to 2 or 3 people. The FA Cup really didn't matter. We're going for the Premier League title. Wait a minute. When did we get to the point to where we can just piss off like we've won 4 or 5 Premier League titles? like we've won 10 FA Cups in a row. Like we've won 4 or 5 Carabao Cups in a row. How is it that Man City takes these cups serious? Every time they roll out a cup, they put out the best team possible. They put out whatever they can put out there. And we come up and we put out guys that probably should have been playing in a Wrexham game this past weekend.
Yeah, totally agree.
Enough is enough. As far as I'm concerned, Jez, enough is enough when it comes to our arrogancy in certain cups. I said from the start, full team, big win. But Arteta saw otherwise.
The thing is, I'll come to you, Warren. You know, the FA Cup, I love it. Like you said, Matt, I was brought up with the FA Cup. You know, it was something that I absolutely loved watching. You remember the days, Warren, when we used to watch the team bus leave from the hotel and have the helicopter and they'd see all the people and they'd follow the buses down to Wembley. And I think it is, as you said, Matt, arrogance on Arteta's part. Warren, what's your take on it, mate?
I think, to me, it's just been a problem with him since he's been here. Like his ability to make sound judgments. I think there's a problem with his ability to make sound judgments because we saw it. Like Matt was saying in that Europa League semi-final, going and playing Unai Emery's Villarreal, putting in a tactical system we'd never used before. And then we go up to Newcastle, move forward. We go up to Newcastle. Not Newcastle. Go up to Manchester City, play a weakened side against probably one of the best, if not the best side in the world at the moment, albeit they're not playing well at the minute. And, you know, they were there for the taking. If we'd gone up there with a proper full-strength team, I would have backed us to get at least a draw up there, if not beat them. I really would have, because I think we could have taken them. And not only that, Jez, it would have laid down a massive marker for the league campaign and given us a huge psychological advantage if we'd gone up there and beat them in the FA Cup, you know, and because they would then put them on the back foot for the rest of the title race and given us a huge boost, because we would then know that these players would then get it in their heads that we're capable of beating any side in this league, you know. And I just worry because, like, come the fag end of the season, I've just got no confidence that he won't do something crazy again, like he did in that Europa League semi-final, and try and put in some tactical system in a really important game that we need to win, that players have never worked in before, and then it all goes tits up and we end up losing the game and losing the title because of it. That's my big concern with it.
Totally agree, mate. Steve, did you actually get to see the game, or you?
Yeah, so I fell asleep the first half and woke up during the second half. But I agree with what Matt said, though. I was unconvinced by Man City. Arsenal, I felt the same, but I felt like Arsenal could have done something, but you didn't. You put out Rob Holding. Rob Holding does not work in your team. I thought that it's silly stuff like that. Like, and also the FA Cup slander for me is ridiculous. Like, why is it me and Matt, two Americans, albeit he's older than I am, but we both had to discover the history of football in England and recognize how special the FA Cup is and all this good stuff. It's an awesome tournament. I love it. Same thing with the Coupe de France. You've got amateur teams, semi-pro teams, and they can play the best of the best. Well, let's go to France as an example of a team who played a serious lineup. Paris Saint-Germain played a team called Pas de Cassel, a 6th division team, and they lined up with a formation with Mbappe, Neymar, Ekitike, all of their starters except for 3, and they won 7-0. I know that's not the same example as going away to Man City, but why are Paris Saint-Germain taking a 6th-tier team more seriously than you guys are taking the reigning league champs? That's arrogance not only on the Premier League side of things that Arteta thinks he's going to, win the Premier League. Oh, I can just, I can throw this away. It is what it is. No, it's also arrogance on the fact that he thinks the FA Cup is beneath him. It's not a priority. Why isn't it a priority? Why does Pep Guardiola win the Carabao Cup and FA Cup constantly? Why does he take the competition seriously? Why did Wenger take the cup seriously? Why did all these good managers take the cup seriously, particularly when they play stronger opposition? You make a few changes here and there, fine, but in the wrong areas. I don't think the Matt Turner one is that bad because he actually looks like a decent backup for you guys. I
just want to
the Holding one though. Oh my God!
I totally agree with that. He shouldn't be at Arsenal. A couple of people have said in the chat here today, nobody wants him. I can see why. I think he's absolutely bloody useless. But we'll get into the Edu situation now. What is this clown actually doing? What has he been doing since the end of the last transfer window, during the World Cup and during this window? Because once again, here we are, same old Arsenal, rinse and repeat. When will we ever learn that? We proved it last season. After the January transfer window, we were weak, and we are still weak. We've let Marquinhos go out on loan to Norwich. Okay, if that could be a good move for him.
Good for his development. Yeah.
I think it is. I don't think he's going to get a lot of game time under Arteta. So I think that is positive. But this continual piss-arsing about with Mudryk, which, let's be honest, we were never going to pay the money. We were never going to pay the money for Casado. Now, if that's a true statement on the screen there, then what the hell have Arsenal been doing? It's joke time. This guy is a clown. And I'll say it, and I'll say it again. He is more of a prick at the moment than Arteta because he's done absolutely nothing. Warren, what's your view, mate?
Mate, I'm absolutely fuming, Jez, because all that time that he wasted chasing Mudryk was months and months and months before the window opened. And did we really need Mudryk?
No.
There were areas of that team that we needed serious backup for, particularly the midfield, right? And what have we done we'd gone in and we signed a Chelsea pensioner.
Okay.
The fourth.
Yeah,
The
again,
fourth. The fourth Chelsea pensioner.
And it's he to me. If it was to me, I'd like to see a situation. I hope this is going to happen. I doubt it will, but I'd like to see Josh, right, sitting there in the boardroom tomorrow morning and calling in a whole transfer committee and having it out with them like Alan Sugar does on The Apprentice.
Yeah.
And saying to them, like, one of you's getting sacked, if not two or more. Right?
It won't happen.
No, it won't. But that's what I'd like to see, because for me, it's Edu. He has to go. And we as supporters need to be putting more pressure on the club, because I don't think we do it enough. And I'd like to think that Mikel will go into Josh and turn around to Josh and say, listen, I'm not putting up with this nonsense ever again. You either sack him today and get someone who knows what they're doing and knows how to negotiate. Otherwise, you can have my resignation. Put pressure on him.
Be an interesting move.
He has now, if we don't sign anyone within the next, was 9 it 8 hours or 7 hours?
Yeah.
If we don't sign any decent backup for that midfield, he could be potentially responsible for our title challenge fizzling out. And that's not Mikel's fault, right? So Mikel is being put in a difficult situation. So he needs to defend himself and go and see Josh and say, listen, no, I'm not having this. Right, I'm doing my best to get this team challenging, and I'm being hampered at every corner by this idiot.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, the thing is, I think the problem here, Warren, is Edu is basically a yes man, and the Cronkies like yes men. Simple as that. How do you? What's your opinion on Edu? Do you think he's actually doing a job, or do you think he's robbing a living?
I told you I have a long memory. I want people to realize that he was in the regime when Brazil got beat 7-0 by 7-2 or whatever it was, by Germany. Let's put this. Let's bring this to perspective, gentlemen. We show up to the table for Salcedo. We bring 60 million. They said we won't sell him for we'll sell him to you for 80. We come back with 70 million. Then last night I think I heard we come back with 75 million. Why didn't we just come to this table with $75 million off the top? Why is it that Arsenal have to resort to flea market tactics when it comes to us penny pinching, dithering, as you say, Jess, just consistent dithering over and over and over. We're over here funding. We're funding. I want y'all to hear this now. We're funding Chelsea transfers. Now, last month, I heard, and I saw it in the chat everywhere I turned, when João Felix's name was brought up, they said, no, it's too much for a loan. But damn it, we just paid $12 million for a guy for 18 months. So why didn't we fork up the money for João Felix? We went for $90 million for some dude that's played 12 games.
Yeah.
But then we show up and we penny pinch when it's time to go buy a player of quality. At some point, people have got to start looking around here, asking some questions about this gentleman. What big, outside of Jesus, and I don't even count Jesus because Arteta already knew him. Outside of him, and I can't even think of another big name signing we had because I don't count Partey because we paid a release clause. What major player has Edu Gaspar turned around here and negotiated to bring to the club without failing? Look at the list of players that we've been linked to that we have failed. Failed, Jazz. Failed.
Absolutely.
If me and you were to go to work and we did not perform our duties, we would be fired. but some way or another, he gets a pass. I'm seeing people justifying this thing this morning. They're telling me, oh, well, we bring in experience. But y'all told me Zaha was too old.
Yeah.
Y'all telling me all this stuff. You know, I even heard that when Trossard came in. Well, he's 28 years old. What now? 31's better?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be another Chelsea player. Let's go down. Look at the laundry list of Chelsea players. Check. David Luiz. Willian. Have y'all forgotten? Have we forgotten
And
about?
he was free. Willian was free.
He came from Chelsea. He came from Chelsea. I want you to understand this. I say the same thing about Real Madrid. When there are certain times you better look up and think twice before you pull the trigger. Because if Chelsea is letting the player walk out the door, then something's not right. Something is not right. We went from Salcedo all the way down to Jorginho. Where was the in-between, gentlemen? Where was the in-between? You telling me there's not another player in Europe that could at least be just a little drop-off from Salcedo that we could have went in maybe 50 million and got? Huh? There's no way that somebody's going to sell me on Jorginho is the best we could do. People, please don't fall for this thing about Declan Rice. Please don't fall for that. We all know he'll go to Manchester United. We all know City will drop in. Chelsea might check in and spend another 500 million in the summer. At some point, people, we have got to start holding people accountable. This man has completely botched it. We have dead wood in this team. You could have sold an extra 10 million by selling Maitland-Niles to somebody else for $5 million and got the extra 10 million and paid the 80 and brought Salcedo to this team. How is it that I can sit here all the way over the United States and put together a better transfer policy than the man they're paying top dollar to? Top dollar. Every Brazilian player, every time I look up, Jeff, the player can either speak Portuguese or he's from Brazil. And my old lady is Brazilian. So this is not a slight on Brazilian. And I sit here, I have to sit here and watch this man penny pinch and go find whatever he can find laying what's under the couch and bring it to the team. And people are expecting, you're going to start hearing this narrative in the next couple of hours. Let's support the team. We got to get behind them. They thought this would be best for the team. As you just stated, Jess, we're actually worse. We're worse because we loaning out players and not bringing in players. So what happens when players get hurt? You know, meanwhile, Chelsea's over there loading up. They're just loading up.
Well, we just don't learn, mate. We just don't learn. We did this last bloody transfer window in January, and we're doing it again. And I just find it so frustrating in the fact the thing is, what annoys me is there will be people in the fan base. Oh, it's been a good transfer window.
It's the worst. This is one of the worst windows I've seen. It was getting decent. When Trossard came in, we all can agree. Trossard came in and it looked good. This other fella that is coming in looks like he's
Fresneda?
Yeah, no, the other Kivior. Was it
Kivior? Yes.
Yeah, Kivior. He looks like he'll be pretty decent long term. But when you look at competing, see, this is what people got to realize. We're not in 9th, 8th place trying to get into Europe. We're at the top of the table. When you're at the top of the table, this is the end of the season where you're looking to sew up any loose ends. You're looking to close it out. You know, this is our shot. We're going to take our shot. And if we go down swinging, we're going to go down swinging. What we have done is we have gotten to the top. Honestly, this is the way I look at it. I really don't think that they thought that we were going to even be at the top of the table at this stage. And I think that Eddie was caught off guard. I think a lot of people were caught off guard. And now that we're at the top of the table, they really don't know what to do. This is why when you have inexperienced people who really don't know what they're doing in a position, you start to see small things, and you're starting to see it now. I'm telling you, if we're not careful, you just alluded to it, Jazz. It's going to be a slow decline this back end of the season. And if people are going to look up and say, well, what was the problem? And you're going to go back like we did last year. And you're going to look at January, and you're going to see that's where the root of our problems began, in January, because we didn't do what we needed to do. We should at least I would have accepted them loaning a better player than paying that money for Jorginho, because you can't make me accept that, because I know, because we've got a track record of him already. We've got a proven track record on Jorginho. I don't have to guess what he's doing, because we've seen it. We've seen this. We get has-been players. We get has-been players that are post-wall players. And then we try to sell the fan base on them being better than what they are, when we've already got a track record of it. Edu needs to hand in his resignation first thing tomorrow. And I'm going to put the fire on him for the rest of the season. Y'all thought I was bad on Arteta. I am going to put my foot on Edu's throat, because he needs to go. Any man that cannot get players. I honestly believe Arteta gave him a list of players, because we wouldn't have went in $90 million for Mudryk, 60 million, 70, 75 million, and then you go all the way down to Jorginho. Brother, that is unacceptable. And I'm sorry I'm ranting, but I'm so mad right now that we have squad 16 weeks. We chase one player, and you get two. You get basically two, because I don't even count Jorginho. I don't even. You can't sell me on it, man. I'm sorry, you cannot sell me on it.
No, I totally agree. I don't want him. We just don't learn. I mean, somebody earlier on, I heard, it was on, I think it might be Lee's. You know, we have basically become a pensioners' home for Chelsea. I'm sorry, but Arsenal Football Club are way, way, way above that level, and it's a bloody disgrace. As you just quite rightly said, we pontificate, piss arse around with these stupid bids. If you want the player, just go and pay the money. It was clear that Brighton didn't want to sell him, but as Warren said earlier, every player has a value. If you pop that money on the table, the club will sell them. Simple fact. That's what Arsenal used to do. If they wanted a player, they'd just go and pay the money, and that player would arrive, and nice job done. Now, here we are. Well, Jorginho, no, it's just not acceptable. We did it on a free with Willian. Look how crap he was. I think he played one good game. That was the opening game against Fulham.
3 assists.
And he's at Fulham now on loan. So what the hell is going on?
Jez, I did my research, right? You guys have made 6 permanent transfers that you bought in a Chelsea player. Those are as follows. You got Czech, William Gallas, Lassana Diarra, Willian. Now it's Jorginho, it looks like, and the other one is David Luiz. Yeah?
Yeah.
Gallas was obviously the best out of all of them, correct?
Yeah.
Easily, right? Lassana Diarra made 7 Premier League appearances, pissed off to Portsmouth. That was a waste of time. David Luiz was reckless and awful for you guys. Willian was awful, like we said. Petr Cech got some clean sheets. That's about it. And Jorginho, what's? I mean, come on, man. 1 out of 6. That's poor, bro. You just don't learn. You don't learn. Don't sign Chelsea pensioners. Don't sign Chelsea pensioners. It's simple as that.
They're sending these pensioners to the wrong place. The Chelsea Pensioners Hospital is just down the sodding road from Stamford Bridge. They want to send them there.
Right.
Arsenal.
How old was Gallas when he moved to Chelsea from Chelsea to Arsenal?
Was he 28? Was it 28? I believe he was up there.
Didn't he play number 10, even though he was a defender?
He was. I don't like number.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Only if any Arsenal fan remembers Gallas this way, sitting on the middle of the field crying after that game. That's what you remember him for. That's the best thing he ever did, was sit in the middle of the field and cry or look for a contact on the ground. I don't understand why we keep going to get Chelsea's players. That's what bothers me.
Right.
Chelsea, man, why we going over there buying their players?
Yeah.
Why have we not going in for Tielemans?
Well, that's a good. I was going to just come to this. Apparently, and I saw this. I think it may have been on Sky last night. There was some comment that Edu was in for a late bid for Tielemans. Why, if that is true, and I don't know if it is true, why did that not happen at the start of the window? We know he wants to go, so why mess about like this now? And here we are with 8 hours, 29 minutes to go, according to Sky Sports up there. And we've got Jorginho. That's great business, Edu. You are an absolute complete prick, man. Seriously. You know, I just don't get it, man. Warren, I'll ask you this one. Mate. Why do you think we spent so long messing about for the casino when it was quite evident to me he was never going to come? So why do we do this, Warren? Why do we do it?
I don't know. To me, it sort of smacks of arrogance.
Yeah,
and arrogance, and also being not knowing what to do and panicking. You know, because the lack of experience thing is something that's been a big problem at this club for a long time. And it does, because if you had a team of people knowing that if, Brighton have said that he's not available, we're not selling him, rah, you'd think, okay, well, we're not going to get him no matter how much we put in. Let's go and look elsewhere for other targets. Yeah? So why we keep doing it, it's because I just think they're not learning from their mistakes. They're not being held accountable. There seems to be a very laissez-faire attitude at the club. And this is why I want a megalomaniac owner, right? Because I don't think Stan and Josh are very hands-on. And I think this is one of the big problems. We need an owner who is on site and is demanding answers. Because to me, it looks like they're just running around, causing mayhem and doing madness, and they're not being held to account because the fans ain't doing it. Our fan base ain't going to hold them to account. In fact, they just celebrate everything they do. No matter how crazy or stupid it is, going, oh, yes, it's fantastic, Donadu and all this crap. But the reality is that we're a laughing stock. This is...
Sorry to interrupt you, Warren. A great comment here I'll come back to you, mate. Arsenal Manic. Chelsea must be laughing their arse off at Arsenal. We are top of the league and we act like a champion side in the transfer window. That sums it all up, mate. Sorry, Warren. Sorry about that.
No, because I was thinking this, and I wanted to say on that stream I did earlier about Tielemans, and I don't understand why we didn't get him. I mean, I don't know if we're going in for him now, but he wants to leave. He's got 6 months left on his contract, the same as this Jorginho fella. And for me, he's light years ahead of Jorginho. So I just don't understand the thinking behind it. But then also you've got to factor in the equation is Edu. And it just annoys me, Jez, because we had a manager back in the day who got sacked for doing less than what this joker's done, and this joker, Edu, has been able to get away with it. you know,
I mean,
the rest of it.
the one thing you had to say about Arsenal back in the past, I mean, to my mind, the Arsenal transfer business has gone out the window ever since David Dean went. Because David Dean would just get the business done. He didn't piss arse around, you know. It was the classic statement when we had the likes of Sir Peter Hillwood, David Dean, when they knocked on a football club's door, it was a different kind of knock. And they would just do the business nice and quiet, and all of a sudden the player would arrive. We just don't seem to have that ability anymore. Seriously. And look at, I mean, come to you, Steve, Newcastle United.
Yeah.
They seem to have the ability. I know they got pot loads of money, but it's not always about the money. It's about who's actually holding that money, who can actually get players in. And you guys seem to be able to do it.
Yeah, we do, because we have established hierarchy at the club. Dan Ashworth, recruitment at Brighton, very, very good at his job at Brighton, and it looks like it's going to translate to Newcastle based off what he's done so far. It's just, for me, it's ambition. It's a lot of things that it just looks like Arsenal, they're somehow in this league position, but the league position that you guys are in isn't a mirror image of what your business in the transfer window has been. Like, let's look at it like this, right? You guys are, you know why this is such a surprise that you guys are top of the league? Is because that squad to nobody screamed a title contender. So there is a bit of luck involved in this, a little bit. But I'm going to give you guys the credit, the players and the managers so far, that you guys are performing far above expectations. Just imagine if Edu could do his job. Imagine if Edu could do his job. You could be 15 points clear, maybe. You could have incomings this January. I mean, for God's sake, Man City just sent João Cancelo to Bayern München. They sent one of the best fullbacks in the world. They sent him out on loan. So they are weakening themselves. And so that's even more of a shout. That's even more of a reason to go strengthen. When the teams around you are weakening or injuries pick up. Same thing with Eriksen at Man United. He's out till looks like May. So I mean, it's like you got to convert on this. I'd really, really like if Newcastle could sign Caicedo though on a different thing, and it would be the ultimate piss take if we did that. Would. And you know what? I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think that could happen. I think we could bring in a Madison, the Tielemans or something, because we're selling John Joe Shelby to Forest soon. It's going to be announced shortly. So I think the rage from you guys is only going to go up if we sign someone big. If it is Caicedo. Would you guys be surprised if we just walked into Brighton and said, Caicedo, I'll give you the money, let's do this?
You just pay the money. Yeah. I just read this. Gavin says, it's a great comment, this. Sick of saying it. We're 10th richest club in the world, fact, and we pretend we can't spend, and half the fan base think we can't.
Yeah.
And half the fan base think we can't and make excuses for them. I'll pick up that for Jez. Jez got so many things about the chat. But no, I'll say this. Stan Kroenke.
Kick me out.
That's it. I'll pick it up for you, Jez. Stan Kroenke is more richer than Chelsea's owner.
Yeah.
And look at what Chelsea's doing. Look at our owner. But we've got our fan base. I've never seen a bunch of people that just take whatever falls to the ground. We take whatever falls to the ground and we run with it. There's no reason that we are the Arsenal and we should go knock on somebody's door Brighton said 80 million. It's like I told somebody last night. If Brighton said they want 80 million, Arsenal should circle back and say we'll give you 83 for a service fee. And if they don't accept that, then they taking the piss. Then you move on. But
Right.
you go with the money that they asked for and force their hand. Newcastle's going to go in. They're going to pay the service fee plus more and get whatever player. Chelsea's going in, spending. They said we're in a recession. Chelsea's splashing the cash. I mean, where is it that Arsenal fans are going to start to finally wake up and look at this thing? David Dean, if a player, the worst thing for a player that was up for a potential transfer, if you the other team, is for David Dean to knock on your door and that player answered, or Arsene Wenger knock on that door, because you knew it was at least a 80% to 90% chance that player is getting ready to walk out the door. Sir Alex Ferguson taking players and putting them in the car and bringing them over to Manchester United. You look up and here they are. They over there playing for United. Edu goes over. He gets turned away, and he'll go get whatever whoever the oldest player on the payroll. Yeah, I've got somebody. I did my job. I got a player signed, bro. Let me tell you something. We are in major trouble. The longer this man stays at the club. Richard Garlick. These guys that don't get Garlick and the other fella. Yeah, Vinay. They told us at the beginning of the season. Edu told us that he wanted the challenge, the win. Well, damn it, part of winning is a good transfer window.
Yeah,
he said we will come in the challenge this year. That's what he told us now. And I told you I'm going to hold him to that. You know, we have got to stop. We have got to stop half-assing it when it comes to the transfer window. It has driven me crazy for years to watch players just like you got players like Madison that we could have got. You've got Tielemans we could have got a long time ago.
Bruno Guimaraes.
You know, all of these players. We did it last window with the fella at Aston Villa, with Luis. And you turned around and you could have got him and you wasted it. And now, like you said just a few minutes ago, you wait a last minute bid for Tielemans. Man, Leicester City probably laughing at them. Man, we'll just keep him, let him go for free. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man, to see people justifying this today. That this was a good move, experience, and you know he's gonna bring a lot to the. I saw someone say he's a dog, he's a warrior, he can fight, and I was just like, man, come on, bro. This is absolutely ridiculous, man. It's a laughing. We're laughing stock. We have consistently embarrassed ourselves in the transfer window, and we've done it for years. And it's hard. People know when Arsenal come to knock at the door, don't take them serious. Don't take them serious. If Arsenal's coming to you, don't take them serious and say no to the first 4 bids. And it's unfortunate. And it's sad, Jez, because we're actually in a title challenge. You would think that you would do whatever you could to get the team over the line, whatever you could. He should at least say, you know what, I got you 5 signings to try to get us over. We just got, City just was the better team or whatever. But no, we hadn't even put up a real fight when in the transfer window. It pains me. And I told y'all this at the end of last year. I said Newcastle is going to come into this thing and they're going to start splashing that cash. And then people forget Aston Villa's going. Watch what I tell you. They've got Unai Emery's over there. People forget they're going to start splashing the cash soon. This thing about top 4, top 6, and all that is not guaranteed. For some weird reason, Arsenal fans think this is guaranteed because we were spoiled up under Wenger all those years, and so they think that everything's guaranteed.
Matt, we've seen it happen before with Arsenal. This is not the first time everybody's saying, "Oh well, yeah, it's Champions League." Well, we were saying that last year. It didn't bloody happen, and there is no guarantees here that if we don't strengthen this team, that we could be out of the Champions League if we end up in 5th.
Yeah,
no guarantee here. And this is a great comment from Jack. Did you see James from AFTV on Twitter basically calling us toxic if we don't support the Jorginho signing? Well, that guy's just a clown. Let's be honest. He's just towing the party line. Simple as that. Warren, I'll ask you this one, mate. what is your view on the Tierney situation? I think he seems to have fallen out of favour with
who? Sorry,
Tierney.
Tierney. Yeah, well, everyone knows that I absolutely love Kieran. I think I think he is one of the best left backs in the world. But the situation is now, it looks to me like we're playing a system that it doesn't suit him. And for me, his confidence has completely gone. He's shot. And I think I sort of get the impression from looking at him that he wants out. He wants to leave because he thinks if he stays, it's going to damage his career. And I don't understand it because, like I said earlier, I don't like this inverted fullback thing because I think it's tactically flawed. Because if you got a fullback going into the midfield, right, that means you then got the left sided. Well, say the left back is going into midfield, right? You then got the left sided centre back who has to shuffle across to cover him, and then that means you've got one centre back potentially having to manage two strikers coming into the box. So if all the opposition needs to do, they play a long ball over the top of the midfield, and then they're in. So I don't get it, and I think he's going to be gone. If it doesn't happen today, I think it will in the summer, and I could see him ending up at Real Madrid or Manchester City, particularly now after what's happened with that Cancelo fella at Manchester City. Because I know that Pep likes him, and I know that Ancelotti, when he was at Napoli, tried to get him to go to Napoli when he was at Celtic, but he chose us instead. So, or he could even end up at Newcastle.
Oof.
I think his days are numbered, Jez. I really do.
That's why I asked you the question. I don't think he's happy. I don't think he's performing anywhere near as good as he was when he first came. He was a breath of fresh air. Steve, what do you think about this Tierney? Do you think he's going to be going in the summer? I don't think it'd be now. I think I can see it in the summer.
Oh, I would take him 100%. Either right now or in the summer. Absolutely. The injuries are a tiny bit of a concern. Yeah. But like I commented on Warren's show earlier, it's actually, and I looked into it too, the injuries, he doesn't have it nearly as bad as what's his name? Emile Smith-Rowe. A few other guys in that Arsenal team don't get hammered with that same criticism or just pointed out as much that these other players at Arsenal struggle with injuries like, Tierney does. But Tierney, for me, is the complete – he's a footballer. He is a footballer. He's a footballer. And that's what I love about the guy. He could score you goals, assists, crosses into the box. Defensively, he's a dog. I mean, I love him. Absolutely love watching him. It's a shame that he gets injured and stuff like that. And it's weird that he doesn't fit into this Arsenal side for whatever reason. I agree with Warren about the tactically flawed sort of thing. So, no, but I would 100% take him at Newcastle because then that could have Dan Burn could shift either to center back or he could play as left back cover. And then on that left-hand side, Tierney would add a hell of a lot of attacking emphasis on the left, overlapping. Possibly with Anthony Gordon, who might be a starter now for Newcastle. So, I mean, that would be a very, very exciting signing. I'm not sure how much it would cost. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We have. I don't even want to know how much money we have. It's silly, but it's not even like you said. like you guys said, it's not about the money necessarily. It's also about how good of a negotiator are you? How good are you at getting deals over the line? Edu struggles with that unless that there's some sort of connection. There are prerequisites and conditions that Edu had that have to be in place already for Edu to get something over the line. If it's cheap, it'll happen. If he's Brazilian, it'll happen, or speaks Portuguese, whatever. But for me, Edu, back circling back around on him, he struggles to get the big deals over the line because he just doesn't pay the price. I see comments on here, and it's fine. It's whatever. Their interpretation of the situation. Brighton did not stand their ground on not letting the player go in January. No. They stood their ground with the asking price. That's what they stood their ground on. Any player in the world, don't care what club it is, if you have enough money, it'll happen. Any player, you just got to have the right price. And the player also probably wants to make the move and whatnot. That's the problem. So for me, it's like if you just gave Brighton 85, why in the hell would they turn that down? Why would they turn that down? Imagine he goes and injures himself and his career's done. And Brighton could have been like, we could have cashed in. If you give them the asking price, there you go. It's as simple as that. You don't go into a store and ask for a gallon of milk and say, I'll pay you $2.50, but it's $3. No. Pay the money. Pay the money for the player in this instance. And why are you going for Tielemans also when Jorginho is going to be the same price on the same wages? $100,000 on Jorginho wages, and then the 12 million on top. Why don't you just go for Tielemans at that point, who's young?
I'm going to ask Matt this question. We know that El Nenny's out long-term injury now. He just had an operation, I believe, today.
El Nenny.
Do you think that this Jorginho panic situation is to cover because he's out?
I think it's honestly, I think it's because he could not get the Salcedo deal over the line.
Right.
All of us, with the exception of maybe Steve, you know, we're north side of 40. We grew up watching Popeye. There was this character on Popeye named Blimpy that would always go, I'll gladly pay you for a hamburger today on next Tuesday. That is how we operate in the transfer window. That is Arsenal through and through. Let me pose this question too, and I'm going to ask you a question, Jay. But I got to pose this one. Who thinks that if we qualify for Champions League, that Edu can get any player of ilk? I'm talking once you get to Champions League level, you're negotiating with bigger teams to come over to this team. No, because as of right now, we're getting turned over by Brighton.
Yes.
We got turned over by the Seagulls. Brighton has played hardball with us in the transfer window. Arsenal Football Club. And Edu is now, see, I brought this up with Lee time after time. I said when these injury bugs start popping, if we don't have players in place, things are going to start to unwind. Luckily, thank God that Partey did not have broke ribs after that game last week. Because we really be up the creek.
Because that could have been an Ericsson situation where he's out till May.
Steve, I'm praying that they wrap it. That he shouldn't even have to practice 3-4 times a week. He should practice twice a week at most to keep him healthy. Because if we lose Thomas Partey at any point, it'll be the same thing with Eduardo. We lost Eduardo. I liken it.
Croatian guy.
Yep. It'll be the same exact thing. It'll be a monumental collapse.
If you lost Vieira.
Yeah. You know, we have just completely screwed ourselves in the last 4 or 5 transfer windows. We have completely botched it. We overpaid for Lukonga. You paid what, 30 million or some odd for Vieira. Look at the money that was spent on those players. You could have spent that money across the board 10 times better. We alluded to it earlier. Inexperience in crucial situations will make you pay. Buy cheap, pay twice. Buy cheap, pay twice. And once again, we've gone back to that well. Like I said, I'm gonna ride this Jorginho thing because I just still make any sense that you go from Salcedo all the way down to Jorginho. You're telling me that you couldn't find 2 or 3 players of quality, even if you had to loan them, if you had to loan the player to come in. I may would have taken the Jorginho situation a little better if they said, you know what, you're just gonna loan him for 18 months. Okay, if we just loaning him, all right, I'll just have to deal with it. But buying a player that is 31 years old almost on a 2-year deal with an option to keep him again, when we've already got Deadwood in the team that needs to be moved on. You know what? I would almost say too. You bring back Maitland-Niles if y'all gonna do that. Just bring back some of the players on loan and let's just keep it moving. But we have completely made fools of ourselves. We are the laughing stock of the transfer universe. We are the laughing stock of the footballing universe. And if we're not careful, we're gonna botch this title. And if y'all think I'm mad now, y'all hadn't seen me real bad yet. Because I'm telling you, this right here is absolutely unacceptable. Edu, you got the Arsenal fan TV sitting over there. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna call them out. They're sitting over there today. They are over there perpetrating this as a masterpiece, masterclass of a signing. That's
Mercy likes it.
Foolishness, absolute foolishness that you sit up there. And because last week everybody was on Salcedo. Now all of a sudden Jorginho is this masterpiece of a signing. Man, y'all can take that and put it somewhere because everybody on this panel knew who. Let me put it to you this way: who was asking for Jorginho last week? Who was asking for us to sign Jorginho in this transfer window? Who brought up his name to go get? Nobody, because nobody thought that much of him. So nobody
top clubs either wanted him.
Yeah, don't you think if he was world class, Barca or somebody went in for him? Hey man, Everton needs all the help they can get. Do you think they'll say, you know what? Let's go look into Jorginho. No, we get him. We know we're going down. No, absolutely not. We know we're going down if we get him. But Arsenal, oh well, we can get a tune. We can get a tune out of him. Why is it that we get these old, washed up players? This goes all the way back to Silvestri. This goes all the way back to Scalacci. These washed up players. Kim Kallstrom, anybody? Broken back. Y'all remember that? Broken back. We got a player with a broken back. Arsenal, Warren, you have to laugh to keep from crying when it comes to us. You have to laugh to keep from crying when it comes to this football club because we operate like fools. It's heartbreaking that we had to suffer like this. And Jez, you've seen the best. Now, Jez, you can go back even further. You've seen it at the lowest of the low. And it's worse now than then because you still had pride. The club still had pride back in the day. We don't have any pride now. There's no pride. It's shameless. We are embarrassing. And now
Chelsea fan, you better hope your team is ready to run because Georgie isn't. He's so bloody slow.
And people talk about Shaka. People talk about Shaka. Y'all wait till y'all get it. This dude here, man, is a tortoise. He is we're gonna have a tortoise on the pitch playing football. Yeah, the turning circle of the SS Minnow. You just wait and and see how bad it's gonna get. Can you it'll just be our luck that Party gets hurt when we play City and then he drops in there. It'll just be our luck. And you'll see what it is. And people will start going, well, how did this happen? You'll see the narrative change. Once he embarrasses us 2 or 3 times, you'll see the narrative change.
Well, before we wrap this up, I want to talk about this weekend, 12:30. We're away at Everton at the good old game that's going to be. How do you see it, Warren? How do you see it going, man?
Against Everton?
Yeah.
I'm worried, Jez. Right? I shouldn't be worried because they're in a mess. The thing that I'm worried about is Sean Dyche.
Yeah, new manager bounce.
But Sean Dyche, he's got an incredible record against Mikel.
Yeah.
And it does concern me because he knows how to play Arsenal under Mikel. So Mikel needs to get his thinking out on and think about how he's going to deal with it, because I'm concerned about it. Whether the only thing is whether Sean Dyche is going to have enough time to get in these Everton players and work with them before the match comes along. I'm not sure that he has, right? Which is a good thing, because if it was, say, 2 weeks down the track, I'd even be more concerned. But it worries me because of Sean Dyche, not because of Everton, because I think if the Sean Dyche factor wasn't there, I'd be saying we're going to win it comfortably. But that's my fear, is him, because of his record against us.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want to see Holding back in the team. That is
I forgot about Holding, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. I forgot all about it. He needs to be sold. He should have been sold today. He should have been one of the ones out, Jez.
Yeah, he should be one of the first out the sodding door.
Yeah.
Selling Everton for
I mean,
Jesus Christ almighty. But Steve, Everton away. How do you see it?
I'd be a little bit worried if I was you guys. Not only the new manager bounce from Dyche, you guys haven't won away at Goodison since 2017.
Nope.
1-0 loss. What? Last year was a 1-0 loss?
Yep.
The year before that, 1-0 loss, then a draw, and then I think it was another loss. So no wins since 2017. And I think in 2017 you hammered them like 5-2 or something. So away at Goodison. And the thing about Dyche is that it doesn't exactly – I see what Warren's saying. Dyche won't need exactly 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. His style of play will suit the Everton team. And he realized he's gotten 2 decent center backs and some okay fullbacks and some midfielders like Onana and Doucouré and those kind of guys who are more defensive-minded. Let's just tell him just play some, just play on the counter. That's all he's got to say, really, until he actually can get some players in that'll suit his style of football, which isn't just defensive. I've seen interviews with Dyche, and he says that he plays football with the squad that he has. He's not one-dimensional. He fits the style of play will suit the players that he has at his disposal. So that is a trap. I saw someone in the comments. It's a trap game. I think it's a trap game because everyone and their mother and their dog is going to pick you guys to hammer them. Conventional wisdom says that, but and the other thing is too, it's just there's so much going in Arsenal's favor, but then stupid stuff like signing Jorginho, who doesn't fit your style of play, passes backwards, sideways. That's not what Arsenal do. I don't know, man. That to me, if I had to predict, I'd go draw. And it's crazy because Everton, they've lost to Wolves, who are bottom of the table when they lost to them, Southampton, and there was a third one in there, I forget. But they've been absolutely woeful at home. But
yeah, they haven't. I just want to read this super chat out, Mr. B for life. I think he's a lot happier than we are, this young man. But what you should actually do is strike, don't go to games. Well, unfortunately, I haven't been to there. I've been to Brighton away. But the fact of the matter is, and thank you for that, Mr. B for life, very kind man. I just find it absolutely ridiculous that I'm now sat here worried about Everton away.
Right.
When we should be actually sitting there thinking, well, it'll be a stroll. It won't be a stroll in the park, but I'm confident we'll go up there and win 3-0. Right at this point in time, I'm not. After what happened last Friday, when, in my belief, I think we had the better of it, but we just couldn't get the ball across the line.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can't deny it was a decent goal from Man City, but I'm just getting more and more frustrated with this team right now. Matt, I dare say you'll be watching the game. How do you see it, mate?
I see it as a 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw. That's what I see it as. Sean Dyche is going as a Warren alluded. That was when I was hoping last week when I was hearing that was not true, because I was like, man, that's going to be like dealing with Burnley all over again.
Yeah,
we're parking the bus, trying to break down, having to deal with that. Arteta has anyone that has an ounce of ability to manage against him, he struggles. And as Warren stated, we have struggled mightily with teams that Sean Dyche has coached. Everton, even though their record is horrendous, a lot of their games they've actually been in and turn around and lost or either drop points. And when you have a window that ends like today and you're coming off of a loss, see, we're going ready to find out now how we are coming off losses.
Yeah.
Because we really hadn't had to do it maybe one time outside of United. That was early on in the season. So now we're in the back end of the season, and bounce back ability is going to be critical, because we've got to pick up points, y'all. Yeah. I told someone the next 6 Premier League games need to be won. That if you want to make it a little easy on yourself, the next 6 games need to be won at some rate, form, or fashion. But I think that this game has got draw written all over it. New manager bounce. Dyche will probably get a tune out of some of these guys and make it really hard. It'll make it really hard to break down. They're in the business now of taking points. They don't care what kind of points they get. They're going to just be looking to get points on the board so they can try to stay up. And teams like this, Jazz, and I'll close. Teams that are at the bottom of the table are the worst teams to play if you're at the top of the table. Teams that's almost going to the bottom of the table are the worst, because they're fighting to stay up. And if you look at our schedule, we got a lot of those teams coming up soon. So it's Mr. Arteta, we're on Edu today, but you drop 2 or 3 of those games and we'll be right back on you.
Absolutely, mate. And thanks again, Mr. B for Life, another kind donation. And what a great statement this is. Edu, it's time to go. Rest in peace, Claude. Yeah, rest in peace, Claude, man.
Peace, brother.
Top fella. Really miss his content. Anyway, I'll go wrap this up soon, guys. Steve, who's Newcastle got this weekend, man?
You got West Ham at home, and hopefully they keep David Moyes in, so that should be 3 points. But yeah, we got West Ham at St. James's Park. But the immediate concern and the biggest game I've ever seen Newcastle involved with over my 7 years of supporting is tonight. We've got Southampton in the semifinal of the Carabao Cup. So that's going to be huge. We have a 1-0 aggregate lead. So for me, you get the clean sheet, you're in, and I think we'll score. But
I think you're in the final, man.
Here's the thing, Jess. And you'll know more than me through lived experience. Nothing is ever so easy for Newcastle, when you think, we're going to win the Premier League title in 95-96 in December, just like Arsenal now, actually. I don't know if we had that. I think we had 10-point lead going into Christmas or something like that. Threw that in the trash. 2 FA Cup finals, lost to you guys and Man United. So I'm nervous as hell, honestly. But you are right. I think we should be advancing. Like I said, all we got to do is keep a clean sheet, because we had the 1-0 aggregate lead. We did the hard part. Now it's at St. James's Park. It'll be the best atmosphere St. James's Park has seen in probably 20 years. So it's going to be oh my God. That's just the nerves, man. The nerves. Like I said, you guys backstage, I work my night shift. So I've been up for, 12, 15 hours, whatever the hell it's been. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep, because I'm on the verge of seeing Newcastle going to a cup final. And this time last year, I was worried about playing championship. Like, I can't wrap my head around it. So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. So
I'll be watching it. We're going to wrap it up. Matt, give your channel a shout out, man, before we go.
You all can check me out at the Southern Gooner. I am going to be on tonight with Tony Gunner Claude and DWTT Gary. We will be talking about this buffoonery in the transfer window, and hopefully something gets over the line before 7:30 p.m. tonight. Otherwise, we're gonna have a big shindig. If you thought I was mad now, you definitely want to see me at 7:30 tonight. I have a couple of choice words, but that's it. Jazz, brother, I really, it's an honor to be on here with you, my man. Likewise, Warren, team talk. I enjoy looking at you before the games, watching you break everything down, different scores around the league. And Steve, always, man, enjoy chatting with you. So, I really appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, thank you. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe. This is one of the best channels on YouTube. We keep it real over here.
Cheers, man. Appreciate it. And thanks for coming on. We've been trying to sort this for quite some time, and it's been a pleasure to have you on today, man. And thanks for your great commentary and your passionate talk today, mate. It's really, really made things. Warren, give yourself a shout out, man, and your channel, the Warren's Team Talk, guys. Go and support this, man. His content is out there, and he really needs a lot more subs, because I think what he does is, to me, I wish I could do the stuff he does. So Warren, he's the man who did this background. So there you go. Warren, shout yourself out, man.
Thank you, Jez. And thank you very much for letting me come on the show today. I've really enjoyed it. I don't think I've done a stream before with either of these two wonderful gentlemen. So that's been an absolute pleasure. And please make sure you go and check out the Southern Gooner and Steve's channel as well. And also, last but not least, Mr. Jez Collins and his Arsenal and the history and more. Absolutely superb stuff. I love it. So you can find me. My channel's Warren's Team Talk. I'm also on Instagram and on Twitter. I've got a show on a Saturday. Starts at 2:30 on a Saturday afternoon, UK time. And that's, I don't know how to explain it really. It's like a show that was on, I don't know if it still is, on Sky Sports, where they like keep you updated with what's going on and all the games that kick off at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Soccer Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's like that. And basically it's just a bit of light-hearted fun, and I like let people know when the goals go in. I've got videos for goals, bookings, sending offs. It's just a bit of fun, really. But I enjoy doing it. The people who come in the chat seem to enjoy it as well. So that's great. I'm also soon, I'm going to be going on to Diesel's channel, because I'm going to be doing a video about the death of Princess Diana. That's going to be really, really good. I think it might be a bit controversial. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that, because it's going to be a really good one, I think.
Yeah, great shows you do those, Warren. They absolutely, I love them. I love watching them. My favourite one, I still think, is the one you did about the bloody ship. I can't think the name of it now.
Mary Celeste.
Mary Celeste, that's the one. That was a great show. Loved that. Absolutely loved it. Anyway, Steve, shout yourself out, mate. Where can we find you? Talk about your channel.
Yeah, so Strasbourg Steve is my YouTube. I do watch-alongs for really any game around Europe, and when Brazilian football comes back and some MLS and some other leagues in the Southern Hemisphere kind of come back, I'll be doing that. Also on Newcastle Fans TV, I'll be doing a watch-along for, obviously, tonight's huge match against Southampton. And so yeah, that's what I got going on. And then tomorrow for my off day at work, I'll probably do Strasbourg versus Stade Rennais at 3:00 my time, 8 p.m. UK time. So yeah, that's what I got going on.
Cheers, man. Thanks for that. And thanks for all you who've watched the show. I think it's been really great. I've really enjoyed having Matt on for the first time. It's been your passion, mate, is nearly, I think, worse than mine. But there you go. That's what it's all about. We love this club. And the way at the moment Eddie's acting is, I think, just embarrassing, personally. Top of the league, going for our first title in 18 odd years, and we can't really get anybody in that's going to help us push it over the line. Disgraceful. If you're new here, people, please like and give us a sub. It does help. The likes really help get the traction out there to new people. Thanks for everybody that's commented. There's been some absolutely awesome comments in here today. I haven't been able to read out so many because it's been hundreds of them, and I've been having trouble keeping up. I don't know why I got kicked out of my own channel. Got no idea what happened there. It's never happened before. But I don't know, glitch there somewhere. I was talking away, all of a sudden there's nothing there. But there we are, it happens. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Steve. Tomorrow night I am live at 6 o'clock with Lee Gunner and Kenny Ken, of course, and of course Gracie, mate. So that's always going to be a good chat. I think it will be quite good. That'll be after the deadline day, absolute dilemma. So that'll be an interesting one. So take care, everyone. I'll do the old kicky out bit, and let's get some business done in the last 7 hours, 43 minutes. Let's see what Eddie can do. Not a lot, I don't think, but take care, everyone.
To hear that you've been to some far places. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I had seen such riches, I could live